I did it. We all go through some tough times in our lives. I have a saying that I tell my friends, nobody gets through life unscathed. We all have challenges. And in today's video, I want to share with you 8 things that have helped me unstick my life. And I hope if you're feeling stuck, they'll help you unstick your life as well. And the first one is designed to tamper down the pressure, right? We can't be doing everything all the time. And when we're going through a tough time, I want you, this is going to sound silly, but as a financial advisor, the first one on my list is I want you to give yourself permission to forget about saving money for a while, to just focus on taking care of you. If you need to take a trip, if you need to get together with a therapist and talk through some things, whatever it takes, I want you to invest in yourself. There's times in your life where it's easy to pile on savings and to make sacrifices and to make that fun. But when you're at a stuck phase in your life, that's not one of those times. This is a time to invest in yourself. So that's number one. The second one, and I've had to deal with this myself, I want you to stop living with regret. You know, if you're close to my age, if you're in your late 40s, your 50s, or your 60s, or even if you're 30, you have a lot of life behind you. You've done a lot of things, and you know what? You've done millions of things, and it's common for there to be a half a dozen or so things that you look back and say, ugh, I really wish I hadn't done that, or I really wish I had done that differently. And you know, none of us know what the future holds, and none of us can change the past, right? So living with regret is looking backwards, and it's beating ourselves up unnecessarily. And then the cousin to that is worrying about the future. And worrying is the thief of joy for us. You can tell I've had some therapy in my life. And so I want you to stop living with regret, and to the extent you can, stop worrying about the future. It's natural for us to kind of line the dots up and say, oh, if this continues, something bad's going to happen. But you know what? It only takes one of those dots to be removed or to move somewhere else, and then everything else plays out differently and more often than not play out much, much more positively than you think they're going to. Okay, the next one. Again, I can't take my financial hat off. But if you're feeling stuck, focus on things in your life that bring you joy. And for most of us, the things that bring us joy is not buying stuff, but it's experiences. It's doing things with people that we love and that we care about, that are our friends, things that'll make us laugh. And you know what? The things that come in the cardboard boxes on our front porch, and those jerks come and the porch pirates come and steal them off of our porch. You know what? The reality is most of that stuff doesn't bring us joy. I have a friend that buys so much junk online. Sometimes he doesn't even take them out of the boxes. Don't let that be you. That's a downward spiral. I want you to each day be doing something that starts to bring yourself back up. And it's a quick dopamine hit. It feels good when we buy something online, but think about going out for a jog. Think about going out for a cup of coffee with a friend of yours. Think about doing a weekend vacation with a friend of yours. Think, if you're single, think about asking that handsome guy out or that pretty girl out that you've been nervous to ask out. Give it a try. If they say yes, it'll definitely put a smile on your face. Okay, kind of related to that is stop pretending to be somebody that you're not. Now there's 9 of these on my list, and the latter ones are going to get me in more and more trouble. And this is one that's going to get me in trouble. But you know, at my age, by the time you're 40, even if you're 30, you know, you kind of are who you are. There's some fine tuning you can do. You can always be striving to be the very best version of yourself. But the reality is there's always going to be some people that, you know, don't like us, you know, don't like who we are. Mea culpa, you know, I have a lot of friends, but I'm definitely an acquired taste. there's definitely some people that don't like me. In a professional setting, I tend to be more casual. People tend to like that, but not everybody likes that. Some people, they expect their financial advisor to be wearing a bow tie and a suit jacket. And that's just not me, by the way. The only people I know that wear bow ties are in the investment industry. And I've worn a bow tie 2 or 3 times in my life just because the occasion called for it. But be yourself. Stop pretending. Stop trying to make everybody like you. And in a world of social media, it's just, boy, the pressures are much greater today than they were when you and I were younger. And I'm grateful that I'm not tied into social media. Yes, I'm on YouTube, but I really try to present myself as fairly and as accurately as I can. What you see of me on YouTube is what you get. This is who I am. And I want to encourage yourself. And not only for you to stop putting yourself down, but talking about stop pretending. This is my next one. Number 6, stop putting yourself down. It kind of deals with that first one we talked about. Stop living with regret and stop putting yourself down. I want you to be your biggest cheerleader. And that can be hard to do. And yes, I know at the extreme that can make you a narcissist. But there's a spectrum. And most of us are so far from the end that would make us a narcissist that we can afford to move from, being a little more critical about ourselves than we should be. We can afford to move down here and be kinder and nicer to ourselves. And I think it's okay to expect that from our friends as well. And if you're hanging out with people that are putting you down, really think hard about, are these the right people to spend time with? And maybe have a tough conversation with them. Okay, number 7, stop resisting change. As we get older, it's easy to resist change, right? When we were younger, the internet came out, computers came out when I was younger. When I graduated college, I did not have a laptop. I had access to a computer in a computer lab, but I had to walk 20 minutes in the snow both ways to get there. But I really did have to go to a computer lab to use a computer. And so we got personal computers, we got the internet, and we embraced that. We got email, we got smartphones, and we embraced it. But as we get older, it can be harder and harder to embrace new things. And I can tell you, I was kind of stuck in my ways. And frankly, the pandemic is what shook me up. I had long, deep roots after 25 years in one town and having strong, solid friends for a long period of time. I was resisting change. I was super comfortable before the pandemic. And I felt like I'm doing this because I felt like I was in a snow globe. And the pandemic came and shook up my world. And on the other side of that, I'm glad that some of those roots were torn up, and it forced me to do some new things. And I'm grateful for that. And I want to encourage you to embrace some changes as well. It keeps us young. It gives us energy. It gives us vitality. Next one is I want you to stop taking your health for granted, both your physical health as well as your mental health. It is worth investing, and investing heavily, both from a time and a money standpoint. I mean, you don't need to take out a second mortgage on your home, but I do think it is worthwhile to commit. As I record this, it's almost the new year, and to commit to some new routines and do what you can to make it happen. They say the vast majority of us inside of 6 weeks, 8 weeks are going to give up on our New Year's resolutions, but make the benchmark really low. Maybe instead of saying, I'm going to jog for an hour every day, right? Just say, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to put on my gym clothes and I'm going to get on the treadmill. And if you do a half mile, you walk it or run it, so be it. And if you get on the treadmill and you do 5 minutes on the treadmill and you start feeling good and you decide to do more, so be it. But bring down that benchmark so it's something that you can really do if your goal is to do it 3 or 4 days a week, so you can do that. And then the last one is stop taking your time for granted. None of us are going to stay healthy forever. And when we decide to retire is super important. And it's why I made this video up here, why waiting to 65 to retire might be a big mistake. Thanks for watching this one. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.